Flosstube. It is Erin the Hiking Stitcher, and today is May 11th, 2025. It is Mother's Day, and I decided that it is a long past time that you guys got an update from me. Y'all haven't seen a full Flosstube from me since February, and a heck of a lot has happened since then. I do have my March update filmed, and it never got posted. So I may upload the completely unedited version just so you can see what I was up to in March. But, so yeah, let's talk about April. April was a life-defining month for me, I guess you could say. It started off, I went to Steel City Stitchers, and I had an amazing time. And I got a lot of stitching done. I met a lot of really great people, and I have a lot of haul from there that I will show you. So I did that the first weekend in April, and then I got home on Sunday, Sunday the 6th or 7th, of the first Sunday in April was the day I came home. And then that Thursday, I got a phone call in the morning from my dad saying that my mother was in the hospital again, or at least in the progressive care unit again, which was kind of no surprise because my mother has been in poor health for a long time now. So it's always been in and out of hospitals. It's always been in and out of doctor's appointments, things like that. So getting a call that your mother is in the hospital was not a unusual thing. What became unusual about it was about 10 minutes later, I got a text saying, you need to come to New York. So I jumped in the car, and my sister and I beat feet to New York, and my mother passed away before we could get there. So, you know, it's like, it was kind of the thing you knew was coming. But when it happened, it still is a little bit of a shock because it's like you didn't expect it that day because Mom had been, you know, it felt like there are other times that she was on death's door and she turned around and made a full recovery. So I guess you kind of just didn't think it was going to happen this way. But she passed away. And so I had to deal with a lot of family dynamics. My mother and I had a complicated relationship. And when she passed away, we were not necessarily on the greatest of terms. So I spent pretty much most of April with my dad and my sister, just navigating the things that have to be navigated when anybody dies. And then, you know, kind of coming back to Virginia and kind of getting settled back into my life here going, now what? So cross-stitching took a little bit of a hit. You know, I had a March Flosstube filmed. I had an unboxing filmed from March, both of which have not yet seen the light of day on my Flosstube channel. And I was going to film a completely separate Steel City Stitchers update. And, yeah, just all those things just kind of got thrown in the air. My stitching plans kind of went out the window. And I heard a good quote from my friend Jessie Marie does stuff. She said, you know, the December and the January me are very different than the April me. So kind of looking at those plans that were made back in, you know, the beginning of the year, I've had to give myself permission to let go and modify things because I was really getting down on myself that I was getting behind on so much of my stuff. So I'm actually going to do this Flosstube really with no notes. No real editing other than putting my intro in, and just going through. So I do have, I had one finish. I had at least one start that I know I can show you. And the whips I'm going to show you are the whips that I've worked on in April, but not in May. So some of the old standby favorites like Steampunk, you'll have to wait to the May update to see where it is on that. Just because trying to figure out where I was at what date, what time is what it is. So, I'm not even gonna look at my notes to see what I did. So, but one of the first things, or I'm gonna say the first things, but one of the things that I stitched on is in this amazing product bag from Project Bags, Judy Starkey. I met her through the Black Needle Society, and she makes project bags. And so this one was perfect for Endurance. So Endurance is charted by the Heaven and Earth Designs, and it's one of my few Heaven and Earth pieces that is not a full coverage piece. So here is where I left off on April. So it is going to be a turtle with a snail down here and a little sign that says Marathon Today. And it's kind of the play on the tortoise and the hare. And so in April, I pretty much just filled in some of his face up here. So I didn't get nearly as much done on it as I wanted. But, you know, you can start to see what he is. So he is going to be cute. He's going to be wonderful. And then he is going to go up in our home gym near our treadmill whenever I do finish him. Simply because it's kind of a motivator for my husband who runs, me who hikes. So that may be one of my focus pieces next year as I start to focus on getting some things finished up, more so than started. So that was Endurance, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. So stick that one in there. Another piece that I started, didn't get much done on this, but I'm trying to remember. I don't remember now if I started this in March or if I started this in April, but it is the Fourth Wing Empyrean Stitch Along that was released from the Forbidden Fiber Co. And the Stitch Along is now done. But once again, I'm like, oh yeah, I can get this and I can do all the pieces and keep up with it and all the stuff. And no, I didn't. So here is where I'm at. I am able to get to the part that, I'm not even done with part 1. So forgive me I don't know how this is looking on here. So there you see it. It says, it's supposed to say, a dragon without its rider is a tragedy. A rider without its dragon is dead. And that is a quote from the Fourth Wing series. And then around it, there will be more dragons. There'll be some swords, some more quotes from the series. And I absolutely can't wait to finish this. But this is probably going to go away for a little bit so I can concentrate on finishing projects that are, shall we say, a little bit more in need of some love. But I still was really glad to stitch this and add this to my whip pile. So this was the Fourth Wing Stitch Along from Forbidden Fiber Co. And it came with, so I got all the stuff that goes, before I forget, it came on, I actually got the whole kit from them. So the colorway is called Feathertail. So as you can see there, it's an 18 count Ada, so it's this kind of a nice little yellow. You can see it there a little bit. And then it came with all of these beautiful, beautiful flosses that Leanne put together. So we have Shadow. We have Black Magic. We have more Black Magic. We have the Midas Touch, this pretty gold. And then we have Indigo. And then we have Collegiate, which I have seen in some of her other projects. And that's it. So, I mean, it's just a really nice color palette. So here, I'll hold it up here so you can see the colors in it. It's a lot of blues and grays and with that beautiful gold in there. So, sticking that back in. I don't have a pretty project bag. Ziploc bags do the trick. So another start that I had was, I wouldn't say a restart, but I've already stitched this once, but I'm adding to my Frogwarts pieces that are all on one banner. So I had 1 through 4 in various stages of being started here. So I can show you those. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I had those in various stages of being started. And so I literally got a very, very minimal start on year 5. So let me kind of show you here. There is my very minimal start. I put in literally the top. You guys can see it there. So I've got the top of 12 Grimold Place. It's not much, but I can officially say that I have started year 5 on this. So this is what it looks like all together. See if I can even fit it in the frame. So this is another, it's going to be a while that I'm working on it, but that's okay. And so this lives in my Slytherin project bag that I got in Kansas City last year, and it is made by Stitchy Missy. So there's my Slytherin project bag. And so when I got back from New York, I looked at all the projects that I had that I was supposed to do, like my Whip-Go board and things like that. And I realized that I wasn't even going to come close to getting my projects, my goals completed. But once I got back and had about 3 or 4 days left in the month of April, I said, I at least want to touch them. Because at the end of the day, I have all of my let me back up here. All of my Whip-Go boards, between all 3 of them, the plan is to touch all the projects that I came into 2025 with at least once. Yes, I've had several new starts, but at least this way, this will allow me to make sure that I at least touch all the projects. There have been a couple that have been UFO'd, but I at least want to make sure that they don't get lost. So one that I picked up was actually a start from Mania last year. And this is the Cafe du Monde ornament, designed by my friend Gussie, actually. There you are. You can see it. And this is, it was originally a needlepoint piece. So the model you see on the picture is a needlepoint ornament, but it was then recharted for cross stitch. So this is one of my favorite places to go in New Orleans. And so here is where I'm at. So you can start to see, so pretty much what I did for April was I put in the black, I started the black, so I've got the the lamp here, and I have the black railing. So this is going to get some more love in the month of May, because one of the things I am doing for Mania is I am making sure that I touch all of the projects I started last year for Mania at least once as well, to again give them a little bit of love and to move them a little bit more towards completion. So this one, you'll see again in my May update video, hopefully with like more of this pink done. That's my goals. I want to get more of this pink peach color in. So that is the Cafe du Monde Christmas ornament. See, that's what it'll look like. And this is in a project bag from my friend Lynn X Stitches Creates. I'm pretty sure this is a Lynn bag. Yep, I got this at StitchCon last year. So this is, perfect. It's the Mardi Gras colors. Looking at it, yes, this is a Lynn bag. So many project bags from so many different amazing, amazing people that I can't always keep track of who makes what unless I actually keep their tag in there, which some I do, some I don't. So then another Whip-Go piece, also it lives in this project bag that I also got at StitchCon last year, and this is from Goose Design. See, I know that because her name's on here. So this is 4th of July Rules. And so this is from Primrose Cottage. This was a Nashville release last year. I picked this up from Nashville, and I started this on July 4th last year, and I hadn't worked on it since. So I definitely wanted to give this a little bit more love, because I know if I just get into it, I can knock this out, but I have so many great pieces. So this got a little bit of love. And so here is where I left off April. So I sat down and I knocked out probably about 200-300 stitches. And so that's where I'm at. So I put in, I believe, these stars, and then I put in the word rules. And so I had originally started this on a cream fabric, and I really realized I didn't care for it on that. And so I just, on a whim, picked up a piece of black, and I realized I actually really like the way that this pops on there. So there's at least one kind of a darker color further down that I may have to swap out, but I'll figure that out when I get there. But at least I have the top piece done, so I can then go on to the first rule. So this will get some love again, definitely on the 4th of July, for sure. And I honestly don't know when else this will come up in my plans this year, other than on the 4th of July. But I'm glad I was able to give it a little bit of love, so it didn't just say like 4th July, is I think what it was. So this is 4th of July rules from Primrose Cottage. Let me stick that all back in these amazing project bag. All right. And then the last piece of a work in progress I want to show you is kind of a finish for now. It was a start at Steel City, along with probably half the cross stitch world. And it is the Extraordinary Bird Stitch Along from Lola Crow. I'd had this, and the first release dropped while at Steel City, so I want to say I counted at least 5, 6 other stitchers just in my area all stitching on it. So this lives in this cute little project bag that actually was a table gift from Steel City. One of my table mates, Virginia, blanking out, I'm pretty sure, she just makes these, and she doesn't really sell them, but she just makes them, and had a whole bunch of them left. So she just brought them and said, hey, pick one. So I figured cats like to chase birds. And so this was one that I worked on pretty much. If there was only one project that I could work on a day, this is the one that got the most love. So this actually got a ton of love on it when I was in New York, and I finished the first release. So I wanted to show you. This is actually one of the main reasons I wanted to film this Flosstube, is so I could show you this before the next release came out. So I have this all done. And so this is stitched on, I believe, a 32 count vintage Stormy Night from Zweigart. And it's using all the called for colors, except I decided to switch out the 780 and 783 for some silk lame braid to give the bird cage a little bit more of a shine. So the first 2 birds that were included in this, here, let me just adjust it again so you can see. We have the American owl over here, and then we have what I like to call the Dracula parrot. So there's the Dracula parrot, and there's the owl. And this was such a joy and to stitch up, and I cannot wait for the first release, which should be coming out this Friday, and it should be somewhere down here, they said. So look for this one again in my official May update. So I did the Lola Crow stitch along. So we'll see if I keep up with this. We shall see. So those are the things that I stitched on in April that I am not currently stitching on for the month of May, other than the Extraordinary Bird sale. But I wanted you to see it before I started adding the individual releases. So I will have a ton more whips to show you in the month of May. But I did want to show you I have a finish and an FFO. So this is the retreat piece from Steel City Stitchers. See it? It says, I cross stitch. I'm kind of a big dill. And so I finished this off at the retreat, and this is from Hands On Design, and they even gave us the stuff to finish it. So this was my first ever hoop finish, And when I realized how easy it is to finish in a hoop, I'm going, okay, I think I can do this. So it came with a ribbon. I didn't put the ribbon on because I don't plan on hanging it right now. I just plan on like leaning it up against something. So I just was excited to actually have this retreat piece finished at the retreat. So I can finally have an FFO to display that's not in a frame. So that was my FFO. And then, let's see. We got a cool, so this is now, I'm moving into my haul because the rest of this is all haul. And so I'm probably not even going to show you everything. I'm just going to kind of show you the highlights, I think. Because at this point, I don't even remember where I got it from. But I will show off the swag bag from the Steel City Retreat. So this was the bag it came in this year. And in addition to the finishing stuff for the retreat, we got in here, we got a cute two little patterns that were designed by Erin of the Steel City Stitchers. She is Caton Designs on Etsy. So she gave us all this beautiful Hello Pittsburgh pattern. And so if you go onto her, if you find her page on Etsy, she also has like Hello London and a few other cities as well. And then we also got this piece. It did not come with the fabric, but it did come with the threads. So this is SCS Neighborhood and I love that it's got the Mr. Rogers trolley because Mr. Rogers was filmed in Pittsburgh. So we did get the pattern and the threads to go with it. And it's a small one. It's like 45 by 46. So I could easily knock this one out pretty quickly if I wanted to. So this is definitely going to go into a pile of stuff ready to start because sometimes I just need a quick thing that could be really a start and finish. So that came in the bag. And then what else did we get? We also got a beautiful mug. You know, last year we had a mug that it kind of became my storage for some floss. This is a coffee mug that I will drink. It's a good, thick, heavy mug, and it reminds me of all the cool things at Steel City Stitcher. So I will be drinking this and thinking of my friends in Pittsburgh. And then we also got a sticker and a pen. And my name tag. So that was the goodie bag that I got. So already a lot of goodies in there. And then I went in with a shopping list of projects I wanted to get fabric for because the Crafty U was the shop that had their setup there in Pittsburgh. So I kind of went crazy. At this point, in this bag, I think is all the stuff that I bought from them, and it's all fabric. But I do know I was also gifted some fabric as well while I was there. So let me just kind of pull out and see what I have. This is a piece called Stonehenge from Forbidden Fiber Co. And it is kind of a gray mottled here. And I think I'm going to use this for Quaker flag from the Vivsters. So it's a big, big piece. I need to get it kitted up with the threads. But for a big piece, sometimes the fabric is the hardest thing to find. So this is, gosh, I think this is, I don't even know. This was kind of a random cut. So it's 36 count. I couldn't tell you if it's a full half or part of a half or 0.83 of a half or a yard. I don't know. All I know is that it measured out to the specs that I needed for the flag. So I grabbed that. And then I grabbed this beautiful piece called Robin's Egg from Grace Notes Fabrics. And this is a piece that I'm pretty sure they said was retired. Like they can't quite mimic this color again. So even though I was hoping for it in Lugana, I found it in 36 count linen, and it is a fat half because this is going to be my fabric for Mario Through the Ages. Whenever I get that started. I knew I wanted it on a sky blue, turquoise blue fabric, so I now have this. Couldn't tell you when I'm going to start the project, but I do have the fabric for it. And then I also got some other big pieces of fabric. I got, you know, I couldn't resist. When you have a title called London Fog, and London is one of my favorite cities, Atomic Ranch Fabrics. It's a beautiful kind of grayish fabric. So I think that I was going to possibly use this for Scary Sampler. I got to go double check and see if the color, do a floss toss. But at the very least, I have a beautiful piece of gray in 20 count, which is becoming one of my preferred counts to stitch on. So can't wait to find something for this. Oh gosh. I'm just looking for anything that's you know, big, amazing. I also found this piece of Grace Notes fabric called Almond Milk, and it's a beautiful neutral. Again, I'm blanking out on what I had bought this for, but it is a big fat half, which will go great with any of my bigger projects, and it is 18 count. And so, I mean, I just don't even want to, you know, I'm not going to go into all these, but I mean, I got some vintage country mocha finally. I finally found some. Everybody stitches on this. Everybody raves about this. I finally got some. I don't know, vintage bittersweet. I had, you know, just a small, some of these are just small pieces. One of my table mates was getting rid of all of her fabric that wasn't, that wasn't a specific count. So she just brought it and just passed it around. So at this point, I don't even know which of this is stuff that I bought and which of this is stuff that I just got from the freebie table or from my table mate. But I got this beautiful opalescent white. I got another opalescent Ada, kind of a blue. I got this one. I bought this simply because I laughed so hard at the name. It's a Be Stitch Me piece of 40 count linen, and it's literally called Not Another Sampler. So it's very, it's got some orange tints. So my first thought was maybe I would do Scary Sampler on this, but I realized the flosses will not go well with the orange. But I'm sure I can find something that says sampler in it that I can use this for. So I definitely just had to grab that. And then some other just random pieces of fabric I grabbed. They had like just different random cuts for like in the, so I've got like a Lugana. I got some pewter Ada. I got some more Ada. I got, this was actually this is a Grace Notes called Lizzie. I was really hoping that they had this in the bigger piece for the Mario, but they didn't. But it's still a pretty turquoise blue. I got more vintage country mocha, but in Ada this time. I got more vintage country mocha. Said it seems every time I'm watching a Flosstube, somebody is stitching on vintage country mocha. So I finally said, I got to figure out what the hype is. So I now have vintage country mocha. And then I got another beautiful piece of opalescent. And then I got silver fox and fiber on a whim. So yeah, I mean, so this is my fabric stash. Which, that's the big thing. If I'm going to a retreat, that tends to be what I spend most of my money on. Simply because I just want to be able to see the fabrics and sometimes do floss tosses. So I now have a ton of fabric to inventory and put in my stash and use to kit stuff up with. But wait, there's more. So most of this, I'm looking through my bin here where I kind of threw my stuff. Most of this is stuff that I picked up at Steel City. Although I did get a beautiful care package from Bella Rose Needleworks. I blanked out for a minute, so I'm glad that I kept the card with it. So when I was in New York, or just before I went to New York, I had entered some giveaway on Instagram and, promptly forgot about it until Jeanette from Bella Rose Needleworks tagged me in a post, said, "You won." I went, "What?" So I had some happy mail waiting for me when I got back. So she sent me a gorgeous, gorgeous pack of goodies. So the first one is called Needlefuls from the Scarlet House. And so it's literally all these little pillows. So this could be something that I can work on to try to finish things into pillows. So I thought those were really, really cute. And then she sent me a beautiful little sampler to make into essentially a notions tray, I think. And so this, it says, "Here my work stands, forever stands the labor of two busy hands." And I was like, yes, that is so true. I would love to have this to save for another, just another retreat and just something to pass along. And then she sent me a floss ring with some pumpkins on it. This is so cute. So I've got some pumpkins. And then she sent me a really, really nice note. So here is her info. If you don't follow her on Instagram or on Facebook, please do so. So that is Bella Rose Needleworks. So thank you for the goodies, Jeanette. That actually was kind of a amazing, amazing surprise and a much needed boost and pick me up after I got back from dealing with the passing of my mother. And another piece of happy mail that I'd gotten was I had gotten the Black Needle Society has started doing a snail pattern subscription. And so I'd gotten the latest one. And it comes in this really cute envelope. And I got to even see. And it also, because it's in April, it came with these cool, literally I can throw this flower in my yard and it will sprout wildflowers. So this month's theme, I thought I had a picture of it. I guess not. But the theme of it is let it grow. And so these are the flosses for it. So they send us the flosses and then they send us a little card with a QR code on it so I can go scan and download the pattern. That's why I'm looking to see, did I must have tossed the card after I downloaded the pattern. Oopsie. But, so I keep this one in here so that way once I find some fabric for it, it's an easy start. And then, let's see, the rest of this is wait. I lied. Here it is. So this is the snail. So there is the snail that the floss goes to. So this is Let It Grow, Black Needle Society. So I'm going to stick that in here so that way I don't lose it. All right, looking through. So yeah, I mean, lots and lots of just goodies in here. So, of course, I go to a retreat and I can't not buy new patterns. And so, so I caved on the Night Garden thread pack, and I picked up these two patterns from the Night Gardens series from this year's Nashville Needlework. There's still one more that I'm looking for, but they didn't have it. It's the one with the moon on it. But again, I still thought the flower patches and this moth were absolutely gorgeous. And one of my table mates, Emily, stitched the moth over the retreat weekend. So I got to see how that piece turned out in real time. So that is something that will go with these. And then my friend Harry, who helps with completely blanking out the cross stitch shop in Baltimore. He and Anne helped Dreamer run that, but he has a 3D printer, and so he gifted me these 3D printed floss drops, which I don't even think he realized were perfect matches for the Night Garden palette, but here we go. So I will be using these floss drops for the Night Garden. So that was one. Oh, wait, I lied. I also got this piece. So these are all, so I got 3 Night Garden pieces. Night Garden? Why am I calling it? It's Cross Stitch the Rainbow. Why the heck am I calling it Night Garden? That's because it's the Night Garden palette. Okay, so as you can tell, my brain is just bleh. So these are all the Night Garden palette. This is a pattern from a designer called Cross Stitch the Rainbow. This is Sweet Wing Studio, and this is Counting Puddles. My brain is still very much mush, so forgive me. So there's that. And then just going to kind of show you all of the things. Some of these things are things that I bought, and some of these were in freebie grab bags that people passed around. So I did buy this Nashville release from Silver Creek Samplers. It's the Rosa Parks one. And I thought that that fit very well with my newfound activism and just wanting to make a statement that I do believe that everybody, regardless of who you are, who you love, who you voted for, where you came from, things like that, everybody in America deserves to be equal and free. And so just Rosa Parks kind of pioneered all that just simply by refusing to stand. So that's my first piece. And then I also found this very, very cute pattern from Stitchy Pros. And this matches me. If unbearable, please go to the woods. That's kind of my happy place. So I did grab that. And so those are going to have to be kitted up. And then, let's see. So somebody just came and like there was bins upon bins of, I wouldn't say bins upon bins, but a lot of people, you come to a retreat and you bring some of your stash. And while Steel City Stitchers doesn't have an official freebie table, there were a couple people who literally brought a bin like this. And they said, okay, you can set it out. Just make sure you take whatever doesn't, you have to take back what you brought. So I kept going through there, and there are some things that have prices on them, but they said, ignore the prices. These are free. So I found these couple ornaments from Franny Ritter Design. So this is the Noel ornament. And then this is Batty About You. So I have a Halloween and a Christmas ornament that I can stitch up. I don't have a whole lot of Halloween stuff, so that's been something I've been trying to grab. So then there's this cute little Erica Michaels Yikes piece. And then there was this adorable Lindy Stitches Bloom Where You Are Planted. This has kind of been a mantra of mine to kind of remind myself that no matter where life takes you, do what you can to bloom regardless of the environment around you. And then this is one that when I saw it, I was going to pull it out of somebody's hands if somebody else had picked it up. But thankfully, nobody else had picked it up because this has kind of been one of my unicorn pieces I've been looking for. And it is by Erin Elizabeth Designs. I am also an Erin Elizabeth, so I've left her, but, been eyeing her stuff. But this is the London tier. And I absolutely love the city of London. So I've been picking up pieces related to that everywhere. So this, I think, will fit perfectly on one of my vintage country mocha pieces of fabric. So I was super, super happy to grab this and cross it off of my wish list because I found it. And then let's see, just so many other just adorable pieces. Some of them I've had my eye on in other places and I saw them. So then I got My Big Toe Death by Chocolate. And then Soda Sense of the Daily Art. This is Birth Month Flower. All these cute little gnomes. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to stitch all of them or if I'm just going to stitch each one individually for people who's like, that's their birth month. So it goes off So it's a gnome holding the flower for that month. So I thought that was absolutely adorable. And then Autumn Lane Stitchery, a beautiful fall piece. So I'm probably going to start trying to kit this up because I may do like the 13 days of Halloween or 13 days of fall stitching this year. Now that I finally have enough fall and Halloween pieces to do that with. So I, maybe another piece of vintage country mocha. Who knows? I've got a lot of it now. So I can't wait to start kitting this one up. And then somebody must have been on a gnome kick, or I was on a gnome kick, but then a Caroline Manning design, The Pollinators. Absolutely adorable. Don't know when I'm going to stitch it, but it was absolutely cute, and I had to have it. And then there were even some kits in there. I went, oh my gosh. So my kits, penguins, Designworks penguins. Penguins are one of my favorite animals, and I really don't have much in the way of penguin pieces. So I grabbed this, and it comes with all the things I'm going to need. So definitely we'll add this to my stash. And then another one that I was like, I absolutely, this cow, he is absolutely cute. She, usually a cow like this is a she. My family owned a dairy farm, and so this cows have a very positive connotation in my life. And so I saw this and I was like, absolutely perfect. And once again, it comes kitted up with everything in there, and it's hard to see because the pattern's in the back. But all the floss, all the fabric, it is a full kit. So there's my cute cow. And the last piece was, I know I've seen one of my friends on Flosstube stitching this, and I'm blanking out on who it was. But when I saw it, I definitely grabbed it. It is fully kitted up. Everything there. And this is the Glory of Autumn from Dimension. So another going to probably start this fall. So, and then I grabbed, let's see. I was able to grab some flosses to kit things up. At this point, I don't even remember which project this goes with, but I grabbed a handful of Classic Colorworks. So I have Pine Needle, Caterpillar, and Mariner's Compass. And I think the last thing, and my friend Harry also 3D printed me this cute Buddy thread holder. Very cute. So that's my April, at least cross-stitching wise. I didn't even come close to making any of my goals, which I guess given the situation is fine. I had my lowest stitch count of the month, of the year so far. But honestly, one of the things that has kind of changed for me since I lost my mom was just not beating myself up over a to-do list. My cross-stitch planner had almost started to become like a to-do list. Like, okay, wake up, stitch this, stitch this, stitch this. Put this many stitches in steampunk. Put this many stitches in this project. And it was just getting to be like too much, especially because now I have a lot of outside volunteer work that I'm doing. And I was just getting to the point where I was kind of beating myself up. And so when you have to start packing really quickly, I think I was only able to pack like 3 projects. And Extraordinary Birds was the only thing I stitched on the entire time I was up in New York. It was just like, for whatever reason, that's what spoke to me at that time. And so I was going from putting 1,000 stitches a day into 200, maybe. There was some day, like I actually had my first 0 stitch days in a very long time. So that tells you that my brain, I didn't have time, honestly, because when I was up there, up in New York, family is around. There's just a lot of things that needed to be done and to be dealt with. And then coming home, my mind was like, I want to stitch, but I don't. Looking at the things that I had to stitch that day for what I'd written down, I was just like, maybe. But anyhow, so that's my April update. Nothing majorly fancy that I think. But a lot of haul, mostly because of Steel City. So that's it. I mean, thank you guys for making it this far. Thank you guys for all the well wishes that you guys sent my way through Instagram and through my last Flosstube update, which was my unboxing. And yeah, until then, if you like what you see, please like, comment, subscribe. Find me over on Instagram at walking_in_stitches. And until the next time we meet, remember, and I have to take this advice myself too, don't ever let anybody tell you what to do. You just go ahead and you just stitch your own stitch. Have a great day.